Like what we do? Consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the description below. And as always, please enjoy the story.
Makeup Curse Part 8. Becca shuffles uncomfortably in her seat as Ross exits the car park and accelerates the car sharply down the road. She huffs and groans in discomfort at both Ross's poor driving and her seriously uncomfortable tight clothing. "Ugh, these clothes!" she moans in annoyance, unbuttoning the top button of her shorts to stop them from cutting her in half. "They are too small for me." Ross quickly glances at Becca. He's still not used to seeing her like this. A large, set guy, he still is a little dazed and bemused by the whole thing. "Try and sleep," Ross suggests, focusing on the road. "Plus, stop moaning. It's your fault for only packing girls' clothes. I know you did that on purpose, just to make me wear your stuff." "I packed these," she quickly replied in defense. "Not my fault that the male me is this absolute beast." Ross pulls a sour face but doesn't look in her direction. He doesn't want to look at her. Her new, unexpected transformation makes him feel slightly uncomfortable. "I see you trying not to look at me," Becca points out mischievously. "Do you not like the new me, Ross?" Ross doesn't react, and that spurs Becca on, trying to wind him up further. "Come on, Rossie," she playfully giggles, reaching over to poke him in the leg. "Do you think I'm cute or maybe handsome?" "Stop it, Becca," Ross grunts crossly. "I'm trying to concentrate on the road." "Don't be like that, my little sweet pea," Becca teases, poking him again lightly. "We've role-played like this before. The only difference is now I'm much bigger and more masculine than you for real." "What are you saying, Becca?" Ross barks, throwing a quick angry glance in her direction. "Are you trying to tell me you're enjoying looking like that?" Stunned, Becca looks down at her body, stuffed into Ross's ill-fitting clothing. She then brushes her hand across the rough-feeling stubble on her chin, and she gently smiles. She feels different from before. Now her transformation is complete, and she's not between genders. She feels better somehow. "Becca!" Ross huffs impatiently. "You can't be serious. Answer me already." "Please don't yell," Becca replies calmly. "I don't know how I feel yet. It's just so different, okay?" Reacting childishly, Ross puts his foot down firmly on the gas pedal. The car roars to life and picks up speed. "Not so fast," Becca pleads, putting her hand against the glove box for support. "No, we are getting to this place as fast as we can. I don't want you to get comfortable like that." "Comfortable like what?" Becca gripes, holding tight to her seat as Ross weaves dangerously between car lanes. "Like that," Ross quips, pointing at her body but not looking. "Are you joking me right now?" Becca complains, clenching her teeth as Ross speeds past a large truck. "Are you that insecure about how I look right now?" "Does it matter what I look like? I'm still me, Ross." Darting precariously between two more cars, Becca slaps the glove box hard with her large hand. "Ross!" she growls, slapping it again. "Slow down! You're going to get us killed!" "For fuck's sake!" Ross screams with pure frustration, throwing one hand up off the steering wheel. "Okay!" As the car begins to slow to a normal highway speed, they both sit in silence. The tension in the air between them is thick like syrup. "I thought this was going to be fun, you know," Becca says miserably, breaking the silence. "I thought you spent a few days as a girl and You'd be enlightened by it. Ross takes a long breath. Adjusting his grip on the steering wheel, he lets out a sigh. That's not fair, Becca, he replies softly, trying to focus on the road ahead. You've been snappy since this morning. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. I was so excited when I brought us breakfast and you barely acknowledged my good news. What are you going on about? Becca asks impatiently. You also kept saying that I've got gender issues. That's not true, Becca. I just... Just what? Clearly you do. Look at what you're wearing right now. What normal boy does this? Ross is stunned by Becca's comments, and he can feel himself starting to shake with anger. This is your fault, Becca! Ross protests with fury. You put that makeup on me. You made me dress as a girl. You forced me to borrow your spare outfits because you didn't pack any of mine. You said it would be easier for me to be seen as a girl. Emotions swirling within the car, Becca looks away with an irritated sigh. Whatever, you little shrimp, Becca gripes, looking out the window at the scenery passing by them. I didn't hear you complaining last night. That's really not fair, Ross replies in pure frustration. I do that because Stop stuttering! Ross bites his bottom lip. I love you, okay? I love you, Becca, and I want to make you happy. I do those things because it's what you want, and I know how much you enjoy it. Mouth and eyes wide open, Becca slowly turns back to look at Ross. His emotional boil to the surface causing his eyes to go red and teary. As he stares forward at the road ahead, Becca can see the honest emotions written across his face. You... Becca pauses as Ross quickly glances at her, but bashfully turns back to face the road. Love me? I effing do, yeah, Ross replies after a moment of silence. I love your cute face, your stunning sky blue eyes, your confidence, and your passion. You're serious, aren't you? Becca says, surprised, continuing to stare in shock without blinking. Yes, I'm serious, he says, turning to give her an honest expression. Right now, though, I don't see the person I've fallen in love with. I just see some random dude. Gasping, Becca covers her wide mouth in shock. But, she says, lowering her head to touch Ross on the knee. I'm still me, Ross. I'm still me. Ross shakes his head and then quickly looks back at the road. I'm just... He pauses and rubs his tearful eyes. I'm not into that, Becca. I don't think having a boyfriend is what I want. I don't think that I can deal with all of this right now. Becca sighs and holds a hand in front of her face. Studying her rough skin for a second, she folds her arms tight. It's all very strange, she admits calmly, trying to hide the fact that she's upset at his comments. Not how I thought all this was going to pan out. Strange is not the word that I'd use, Ross sarcastically replies. What do you mean, pan out? This is not what I had in mind, Becca casually dismisses. Don't worry, though. I was just thinking aloud. Shrugging his shoulders, Ross says nothing further. A long silence passes between them as Ross drives and Becca looks out the car window. Becca knows that she can't leave the conversation like this. His admission of love for her is huge. He's never said it outright like that before. Ross, Becca says softly, reaching over to place a gentle hand on his knee. What? She mumbles, going a little red. I love you too. Looking down at Becca's large hand on his knee, he quickly looks back up to see her big, beautiful blue eyes staring at him. He can feel his face going bright red as she stares deep into his eyes. Can we pull over for a minute? Becca asks, smiling wide. Ross nods in agreement, and then a few minutes later pulls off the highway. Spotting a superstore just off the intersection, they pull into the parking lot and Ross turns off the engine. Still, with her hand on his knee, Becca grips softly. Look into my eyes. Turning to face her, he sees her staring down at him with a huge smile in those blue eyes he knows and loves. Moments pass as the two of them look through the windows to each other's soul. As much as Becca's male body intimidates him, he can see her staring back at him through those blue eyes. See? Becca asked gently, moving her hand to touch Ross's soft, rosy cheeks. It's me still. Ross is reluctant at first to let Becca touch his face. As he flinches, he looks away. Kiss me, Becca commands, leaning her large body towards him, causing the passenger seat to creak. Ross leans back and gives her a concerned expression. His eyes dart back and forward from each one of Becca's eyes. He still doesn't know how to feel about it. Still touching his face, Becca softly brushes his face with the back of her hand. Gently touching the bottom of his chin, she smiles. Ross? She says desperately, worried he's going to reject her. Please. Tenderly taking hold of Becca's hand, Ross can't help but notice how small his hand is compared to hers. Ross then gently takes her fingers from his face and moves away. He mumbles, turning away sharply. I need more time. Lowering her head in disappointment, she sinks back into her seat. The car creaks again loudly as she awkwardly moves her large body. Okay, Becca responds, slumping into her seat. I understand. Now turning to look out the window herself, Becca feels the tears welling in her eyes. She did think that Ross would look past her appearance and kiss her. Hey, look, Ross says, causing Becca to look in the direction that he faces. It's a superstore. Probably got a clothing selection. You want to go buy something a little more comfortable? Sure, Becca answers, emotionless, trying to hide her pain. That's a good idea. Opening the passenger side door, Becca bundles out and stands by the car. She can't bring herself to look at Ross as he gets out. She wants to hide her devastation, but feels the tears are moments away from bursting out. Hey, Becca, Ross says tenderly, coming around the car to stand next to her. I just need more time, okay? Please don't be sad. Becca looks away as Ross tries to get her attention. She's biting her lip to hold back the tears. If it makes you feel better, Ross says playfully, trying to cheer her up. I'm going to have to pretend to be your girlfriend right now, right? I mean, look at us. Who's going to believe I'm the boyfriend? Becca looks down at her cute, feminine-looking boyfriend wearing a miniskirt and smiles. That's true, she chuckles lightly, raising a single eyebrow. Maybe I can treat my girl to something nice. Sure, Ross sarcastically smirks, turning to face the store. Let's hurry, though. We haven't got long if we still want to reach the makeup place by this evening. Becca smiles brightly and takes a long stride toward the store. Hurry up, then, my little sweet pea. Rolling his eyes, Ross follows behind. Oh, gravy. You're going to milk this, aren't you? I don't want any more piercings, understand?